Dental surgeons, ladies and gentlemen all across the globe, welcome to third episode of Dentalk, the only dental talk show on YouTube. At the onset, I really thank you for patronizing this channel and joining us as audiences for all the information which we are providing in the COVID-19 period. Thank you so much for the same. News today is that India surpassed China as far the number of COVID-19 cases concerned, which is 90,000 plus. But the relief is that the mortality rate in India is lesser than China and also than other countries in the world. 17th May and the lockdown seems to be easing out. Now the government is probably thinking about that to boost the economy and also to encourage the herd immunity, which is not possible otherwise. WHO says that coronavirus is here to stay and we, the people, have to learn to live with it and have to take all the precautions to prevent the disease affecting us. So everyone starts going to work from tomorrow onwards. Daily wage laborers, the professionals, the engineers, healthcare professionals who are already working and the dental healthcare professionals also want to get back to their clinics with all the precautions taken. So the 3 lakh plus dental surgeons in this nation who will be getting back to work, the word of caution is that COVID-19 is still around and the precautions need to be taken with utmost care. So we shall start from where we ended last time, and we are going to talk about fumigation, fogging and surface decontamination. Fogging is broadly categorized under the word biodecontamination. Biodecontamination is defined as reduction of the microbial contaminants or reduction to an acceptable level. It is also known as sanitization. So how do we do it? The honest fact is that we have already been doing it in a manual intensive method. That is by spraying and wiping with a suitable surface disinfectant. But it has its own disadvantages. For example, removal of the residue and ensuring the sterilization or disinfection of the entire room or area. So keeping in view these disadvantages, the medical profession switched on to a procedure known as gassing. As the name suggests, it is the use of the gases for the purpose of surface disinfection. And the closest a dental surgeon knows what gassing is the use of formaldehyde in the process of fumigation of operation theatres and maxillofacial surgery units. But let me tell you something very surprising. In 2008, the Center for Disease Prevention and Control, that is CDC, requested the people all across the world to stop this process for formaldehyde being known as a carcinogen and a potential toxic substance. For post-COVID-19, there's one word which all of us are hearing, and that is about foggers. The dealers are coming up with advertisements on WhatsApp and everywhere possible trying to sell us a fogger. Since all of us want to get back to the clinics without the fear of getting infected, we may be tempted to buy a fogger, but it is imperative for us to know what a fogger is before we buy one. Foggers are basically of two types. Thermal foggers, as the name suggests, which requires heat, and second one being the cold foggers, which is going to throw out a mist of liquid in your operatories. I will talk about the cold foggers first. They are also known as ULVs, that is ultra light volume liquids. Now all of you have gone to the saloons and you remember that your hairdresser, when he uses a pump with a liquid in, he sprays on your face. What you feel on your face is the mist of that liquid coming onto you. This is cold fogging. Cold fogging works on the principle of atomization, which means breaking a larger volume of liquid into further fine droplets of mist. The mist sprayed in this manner depends upon the mechanism which you are using and the nozzles which are going to drop the size of these droplets. So if you're using a pressurized and a mechanized pump, it is going to throw a large volume of liquid, and if the nozzle is small, the particle size is going to get smaller, which can be from ultra fine to ultra coarse depending upon the size of the liquid droplet thrown out by this machine. This graph actually tells you what are different type of sizes which the machines throw out and what will be the effect of the same. So the take home message here is that the fogger being sold in this category is not a gasser. It is just spraying a mist, which is good enough, but it is not as comparable to a thermal fogger. You can spray sodium hypochlorite, you can spray the ammonium quaternary compounds. It is absolutely okay. But if you want it in the gaseous form, reaching out to all the corners, all the hidden places of your room, then what you require is a thermal gasser or a thermal fogger. So let's talk about a thermal fogger. Now, as the name suggests, a thermal fogger has a heating coil, and it heats up the chemical or the disinfectant, forms the water vapors, and these vapors are propelled out in the form of a fog by an inbuilt fan in a thermal. So this fog permeates into the most difficult to reach areas, which otherwise is not possible via the normal decontamination procedures. You might be wondering that why is that gas is more effective? You remember what is the difference between a liquid and a gas? The liquid molecules and the atoms are cohesive and they stay together, whereas the gas, the atoms are not attracted towards each other, and even a small amount of gas can occupy the entire room. So, and second is about the kinetic energy, that is the energy of the molecules in motion, which has been added by the thermal source which is heating this liquid. So it is finally the decontamination liquid as an aerosol countering the aerosol generated by your handpieces and your ultrasonic scalers. So it's almost like aerosol versus an aerosol. The key parameters, however, for the effectiveness of the gas treatment are the concentration of the liquid, the temperature, and the duration for which this is in the room. And last is the relative humidity of that room. So this is the advantage of a thermal fogger, which sends out the fog and your fog reaches out to all the areas of the room. See, every technology has its pros and cons. The thermal foggers are noisy, whereas the ULV or the cold foggers are relatively silent. For your dental clinic, you require a hospital grade fogger, which has to be approved by EPA, and EPA stands for Environmental Protection Agency, but Occupational Safety and Health Administration, that is OSHA, also says that this decontaminant fog is not your friend. All the precautions need to be taken. You cannot add any amount of any concentration of liquid and you can spray the room, which may be hazardous for you more than the microbes and the viruses. So it's QAC or sodium hypochlorite if it's a cold fogger, and silver nitrate with hydrogen peroxide for VHP, that is vaporized hydrogen peroxide, if it's a thermal fogger. The choice can be yours, but the only thing which I need to tell you is that the cold foggers become messy. They throw so much of liquid in the room that the room becomes wet. So it needs to be taken care. The small machines will have less liquid, which will finish off within 3 to 5 minutes. However, the machines having 15 to 16 liters of capacity can continue for a longer time. They are a little expensive, but they are very effective. Concentration of liquid to be used should be inquired from the manufacturer or the dealer who is selling you the machine. Just stick to the manual, just stick to the instructions. That's the best way to disinfect your room or bio-decontaminate your room. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that you must have a fogger in the dental clinic if you want to practice. For an assurance to your own self, it is very, very important to have it with you. And which one to buy, the choice is yours. You know what is the difference and advantage of a fog versus the liquid. because of its permeability and reaching out to different corners. But if you cannot get hold of a thermal fogger, a ULV machine is also good. That was all about the foggers today, and this also brings us to the end of this episode. It was wonderful having you along with me. Stay safe, happy practicing to all of you, take all the precautions. Next time we will come to the concluding Dentalk episode number 4. We will talk about high volume evacuators, that is HVE machines, whether we require them. Well, as of now it looks like we require them, and what are the best options available in the nation or across the world. So until then, have a safe practice, ensure all the precautions. God save us all from COVID-19. God bless you all. Have a great day.